everyone, I'm Jeong-Cheol. Linux cluster on CentOS 6 and 7, Chapter 12, Samba cluster. In this chapter, I will cover this kind of topics: CTDB introduction and Samba configuration process with 5 steps. CTDB overview. So CTDB means cluster implementation of the TDB database used by the Samba. So nowadays Samba use the TDB database for their database. And the clustered file system in conjunction with the GFS2 must be available and shared on all nodes in the cluster to use CTDB. So to use CTDB, we have to configure GFS2, and this kind of GFS2 file system must be implemented on the using LVS. And this kind of all the cluster file system also must be available and shared on all nodes. So if we want to support the Samba service, then in all nodes must have the same configuration and files. Number 3, Red Hat HA, the high availability, the support, running clustered Samba in active and active configuration up to maximum of 4 cluster nodes. Maybe when we configure the Samba using the CTDB, so 3 or the 4 nodes will supply the service using active and active the mode. Number 4, so to use this kind of CTDB, in our case, we needed to install and configure CTDB in all nodes in cluster to use. So all the file configuration must be same in all cluster nodes. Using CTDB, we can manage node the membership, recovery, and failure if IP the relocation and Samba services. So Samba configuration the process. So in this video, I will show you the 5 steps for Samba configuration. Step 1, the required packages and the GFS2 configuration. And step 3, the CTDB configuration. And step 4, Samba configuration. And the last step will be using the clustered Samba server. Okay, step 1, the required package. So to use CTDB, please install CTDB, Samba, Samba command, Samba winbind client, this kind of package. And after that, check install package using this kind of command rpm-qa grep the CTDB or each the package name. Okay, step 2, the GFS2 configuration. Samba needs 2 GFS file system, 1 small file system for just CTDB, the database, second file system for Samba file sharing service. So in my case, I will choose the logical volume like this. The DVBG1, volume group 1, the Samba 1 and Samba 2. Samba 1 will hold the user data, and this user data will be exported via the Samba the share and should be sized accordingly. And the Samba 2, this one only store the shared CTDB state information. So see how to configure GFS2 on all nodes. So create the first time the directory. In my case, I will make like this: mnt/csmb and ctdb. So csmb will hold the user data. CTDB, this one will store the shared CTDB information. So now let's create the GFS file system, the journaling, the log protocol, table, in my case knowledge via csmb, ctdb, and volume group 1, Samba 1, logical volume, Samba 2. And if that mount like this GFS file system, the Samba 1 will be mount CSMB, Samba 2 will be mounted to mnt/ctdb. Step 3, the CTDB configuration. CTDB configuration file. We need to configure this file on all cluster nodes. etc sysconfig ctd, please open this file, and here we have to put some the elements like for example CTDB node, this file etc CTDB node, and the public address, so etc CTDB public address. So public address will save the Samba's IP address to be exported to client. And the recovery log file, so in my case we will save this file here, mnt/ctdb and file name .ctdb.log like this. And the CTDB manages Samba yes and the WinBind yes. It means normally the Samba and the WinBind service will be started by the Samba service, but in our case we will use or implement the CTDB. So like Samba and WinBind, this kind of service will be controlled by the CTDB, not their own the service. Number 2, specify the cluster node list on all nodes. So create this file etc CTDB node. So in my case 10.1.1.8 9 10. So this is IP address of the cluster node to communicate with each other, especially the internally. So in this case, we can define this kind of IP address. So in my case, I will use this network address and IP address. Number 3, specify IP address to be used to access Samba share exported by cluster for round robin on all the cluster nodes. So public underbar the addresses. Using this file, we need to create this kind of IP. So in my case, 192.168.network is a network address to be exported to network client. So 8, 9, 10, the 3 cluster node has this kind of external IP addresses and the network address, and this kind of IP address using the first Ethernet network interface. Number 4, CTDB the recovery log. So here, specify the log file, and this log file, the CTDB will use this is a log file internally for what? For recovery. So this file must reside on the shared storage to be accessed by all cluster nodes. So this file must be accessed by all the cluster nodes. So this file must be configured, especially the inside the shared storage. So in my case, the LV create here, okay, the Samba 2. Samba 2 will be the this one belong to the volume group 1, and this one CTDB is the same, the Samba 2. So using Samba 2 logical volume, we will create the CTDB and have that mount GFS2, Samba 2, and MN CTDB. Number 5, CTDB the manages the Samba. It means the specified CTDB to be allowed to start and stop the Samba service, not by Samba. I already explained about this one. So we need to turn off the SMB, this one, and NMB. Because I already told you, this kind of service will be start by what? By CTDB, not Samba service. Number 6 as well, the manage WinBind as well. So if you use the Samba service, especially WinBind, especially where in Windows Domain 1 Active Directory. So in this case, we need to turn off, because this service also will be started by what? CTDB. Step 4, the Samba configuration. So this is the Samba configuration file. So here, global section, so guest OK yes, clustering yes, and NetBIOS named, in my case, the CSMB server like this. And create the sharing directory like this, command cluster Samba public and the path. So in my case, I already told you the path. GFS file system will be mounted here, mnt/CSMB, and this one will be used by networks, especially Samba client for sharing directory. And the writable yes, and the EA support. EA support means the extended the attribute, then yes. The number 2, starting CTDB and Samba service on all cluster nodes. So using this one, service CTDB start. If we are successful to start the CTDB, please check the status, CTDB status and CTDB ping like this. In case of the CTDB, normally the service normally use this port number 4379. So after you start the CTDB, please check this port number is open or closed. Step 5, using the cluster, the Samba server. So now up to the step 4, I explain how to start the CTDB service. So step 5, the last step, how to use cluster Samba server. So in my case, first of all, in the client system, you have to configure the DNS service for Samba servers. In my case, I will use this by etc host. So here, 192.168.88, 89, and 8010 is a Samba server. Please check your connection to Samba server using this command, smb client -l Samba. Samba means Samba server name, and after that, without any authentication. Number 2, add users on cluster node. So when we log into Samba sharing the directory, we need authentication. For this kind of authentication in cluster node, we need to create the users like this. smb password -a, add username and password together. Number 3, access Samba using mount. So now we are ready to use this kind of Samba service. So in client system, create or mount, so this one, type the CIFS and Samba server host name or IP address, and CSMB is a sharing directory name. And after that, MNT Samba is a local directory. The option user root means come from here like this. Or if we use the Samba SMB, the client like this, so SMB client, Samba host name and directory name, username like this. And number 5, check the clustering Samba connection on all cluster nodes. So if we are successful to log in this kind of service by the CTDB, then the command will show the information about the connection, especially coming from client. I prepare for this kind of host, client system, node 1, node 2, node 3, and manager. Manager will be the shared storage, and the client will be used for the testing. So node 1, 2, 3 will supply the CTDB service. So in my case, node 1 I will configure. So here, okay, first step 1, the required packages. So okay, let's check the packages like this. Okay, CTDB. Okay, in my case now I already installed the CTDB, and after that the Samba packages. Also, I installed this kind of the Samba packages as well, and the node 2 as well. So here rpm CTDB. I also and the node 3 as well. I already installed the packages on cluster node. Okay, I'm successful. And the node 1, so let's check the file and packages from the CTDB like this. So if you install the CTDB, then CTDB package will install this kind of file and directories. So using this kind of file and directory, we can configure the CTDB service, especially in this directory etc CTDB. So step 1, already I installed all the packages for the CTDB service. Step 2, the GFS configuration. So at first time, I already told you we need 2 GFS file system using the logical volume. So in my case, at first time, let's check the VGS. So I have 2 the volume group and logical volume. Also, I have the 3 logical volume. For the Samba CTDB service, I will create 2 more logical volume first using this one, volume 2. Okay, volume group 2. Now, because this one is around 13 gigabyte is a free space. So first one, MNT. Okay, let's check MNT CTDB. So in my case, I already create CSDB. Okay, CSMB. So let's check MNT. So now the CTDB, okay, this one, and CSMB as well. So now let's create logical volume. So now I have only the 3. So here LV create the size. At first one, Samba 1, size 1 gigabyte, and this one will have Samba 1 DB volume group 2. Second, this one 500 megabyte and name Samba 2 and DB volume group 2. Okay, then let's check LBS. So now, okay, Samba 1 gigabyte and Samba 2 is 500 megabyte. So using this logical volume, let's create the GFS file system. MKFS GFS2, the locking protocol, the rock DLM, and the journal, the 3, and the size will be just the 50 megabyte, and the table knowledge PR, and at first time CSMB using DB logical volume 2 Samba 1. Samba 1. Okay, yes. Okay, now this one Samba 1 size, the block size and the total size 1 gigabyte, and the journals, resource group, and the locking protocol, and table and UUID. And after that, let's create one more using the Samba 2, and this one will have the CTDB. So locking protocol, the journal number, size is the same. Okay, Samba 2. Yes. Okay, also this one is a 500 megabyte. Samba 2, the volume group, block size, and the resource group and journal like this. So now let's try to the mount minus T type GFS2 option ACL no access type, and DV volume group 2 Samba 1 will be MNT CSMB, and also TGFS2 option ACL DV volume group 2 Samba 2, and this one MNT CTDB. And after that, let's check. Okay, here Samba 1 is a MNT CSMB, Samba 2 the MNT CTDB. So now I'm successful to mount to the partitions. Step 3, the CTDB configuration. So before the step 3, in node 2 and node 3 also must mount this kind of partition. So here let's check LBS. So node 2 also can see this one Samba 1 and the Samba 2 and directory MNT. Also I create CSMB CT. So now let's the mount GFS2 option V volume group 2 and Samba 1, this one MNT CSMB. MNT CSMB. Okay, and mounted GFS2 hyphen option ACL volume group 2 Samba 2 and MNT the CTDB. Okay, and let's check. Okay, also this one mounted. So node 3 as well, the mount type GFS2 option ACL no access time DB volume group 2 Samba 1 MNT CSMB. Okay, mnt-t gfs2 option same ACL low db widget2 Samba 2 this one mnt ctdb. Okay, and of that. Okay, I'm all successful. CSMB, CTDB like this. So all the cluster node is successful to mount to the GFS file system. Now step 3, the CTDB configuration. So for configuration, this one, etc sysconfig. So here, open the CTDB. First one, the number 9 CTDB recovery log. So in my case, mnt CTDB, this directory already mounted, and the file name ctdb.log like this. And the line number 25 CTDB public addresses. So in the etc/ctdb, I will create this file public addresses. And the line number 37, CTDB manage Samba, yes, I already implemented this one. Line number 51, CTDB manage WinBind, yes, as well. It's the same. And the CTDB node, etc/ctdb nodes. And CTDB, the DB data, in my case, I will use var/ctdb. Then finish the configuration. So this is a kind of the default configuration. So okay, I'm all successful. And the etc ctdb here, let's check node first. Okay, so in my case, 3 IP address 10.1.1.8.9.10. Public, okay, here 192.168.8.9.10.24.24.20, then mask and network interface. So for example, let's check the in case of node 2, okay, here, ETH, the Ethernet 0, 192.168.89, and ETH1, 10.1.19. So, this IP address will be used for the communication with the internal cluster node. This IP address will be used for the Samba client for sharing service. Here, I create the 2 file nodes and public addresses. Then finish configuration of the CTDB. And this file also must be shared to the node 2 and node 3. Okay, let's check node 2, etc CTDB. And node, okay, same. And public, also same. And etc sysconfig CTDB. Let's check. Okay, this one also is the same. And number 9 and 25 public addresses, Samba, yes, WinBind, yes, and node and DB. Okay, so same to node 1. So all cluster node must have this information. Node 3 as well, etc CTDB. Okay, also a node and public address. The other file also is the same. Okay, now I finished step 3. Now, step 3 also, okay, the CTDB, the recovery log. For the recovery log, I already create this file. So let's check this one, tfh, okay, for this one. And so later, in this directory, maybe that the ctdb.log file will be created in this directory. So in my case, already the CTDB recovery log file, the directory already created here. Okay, here CTDB. And the number 5, the CTDB manages the Samba. Okay, so in this case, SMB off and NMB as well. And the WinBind as well. WinBind. Okay, let's check. So all the label is turn off this service NMB as well. Okay, same. Now I finish the step 3. Now step 4, Samba configuration. So for Samba configuration, okay, let's check this file. Okay, here line number 57, the global configuration. So in my case, the worker my group, the server string, Samba server buzzer, and net file's name here, CSMB server, and guest yes, clustering yes. And in case of the security, okay, I will use the user, and the password backend, I will use the TDB, the database encryption, yes. And also I create here CSMB, okay, CSMB, the comment, cluster Samba, public yes, writable yes, pass MNT, CSMB, and the extended attribute support, yes, like this. In case of the node 1, I finish all the configuration file. So now let's try to CTDB the start. Okay, then let's check here. Okay, now the CTDB, okay, the daemon is started, and this one using now this kind of file and log file as well. Okay, and after that, let's check the port number. In case of CTDB, the default port number using this one. So if you want to know using the port number for the CTDB, this one, the 4379. So in case of the CentOS, normally define all the services here, etc service. So in case of CTDB, using this one, 3379 TCP UDP. Here I check this port already open. So now I'm successful to start the CTDB. Then okay, CTDB status. So in this case, I can see this kind of message. Okay, this node mean the node 1, but the node 2, node 3, this connected, and CTDB ping also is successful. But node 2, node 3, not yet. So in case of node 2, okay, let's check etc samba smb.conf. Also, I already configured like this: cluster Samba, public yes, writable, pass, and EA support. Global configuration, case of okay, this one, security, password, database, and here, okay, work group, the file's name, guest, okay, the clustering, yes, like this. Node 3 as well is the same, etc Samba is the same. CSMB, okay, public, yes, writable, pass is the same. So now I'm ready to start the CTDB service as well. On node 2, okay, service CTDB start, and the node 3 as well. Okay, and after that, let's check the port number as well. Okay, also I'm successful, okay, like this. And here in my case in node 3, let's check CTDB status. Okay, now the okay, but this one is unhealthy, not yet. So if we had to share all the CTDB the information, it will take a few minutes. So now, okay, see here, okay. So now all the CTDB services started successfully. The CTDB service now are ready to supply all the service. Okay, here, okay. And for the testing, MNTDB, okay, CSMB, okay, here. In my case, I will create the test directory and touch. Okay, and also okay, that test to Samba like this. So I create the testing using this kind of file and the directory. And the node 2, okay, let's check. Okay, also node 2, we can see this one by the CTDB. Node 3, I did not create the file and directory in this directory in node 3, but mnt csmb. Also, we can find this kind of directory and file. So now I'm ready to use this kind of the service by the CTDB. So in the client system, let's try to use this one, client system. In the client system, okay, let's check IP address. Here, 192.168.86 and 10.1.1.6, 10.1.2.6 like this. For the name service, etc host, okay, let's check. Okay, here. In case of the cluster node using this IP address 192.168.88, okay, Samba in my case, 89 and 8010. All these IP address, the here, okay, Samba is the same. In the client system, also we can use the Samba system like this, okay, Samba. Then this one will access, okay, 80.8 in case of the cluster is a node 1. So in the node 1, let's create the user, okay, etc Samba, okay, SMB. For the testing, okay, let's check the home. Okay, here I'm using the test user. So here SMB password -a root password. Okay, one more user. Okay, test in my case. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I create the 2 user for the access. So now let's test the connection for the Samba in the client system. So here, SMB client and Samba. So we can find, okay, this one. Now in the Samba server, this one, okay, CSMB, cluster the Samba. This one is now shared. Okay, now let's try to access using this information. So in the using the mount, okay, in my case, I will use directory for testing mkdir. Okay, in my case, I already create like this. So using this directory, let's try to mount CIFS and pass, in my case, Samba, CSMB, and in my case, the local pass MNT, Samba, and username, okay, user, let's try to test the user root, then password. I already created. So let's go to the MNT Samba. So now I can see this kind of file and the directory as well. And here, okay, here mkdir Samba 2. Okay, I also create one more directory here. Okay, and the node 1. Let's check the MNT CSMB, okay, here. Now let's check Samba 2 also created by client. So node 2 also, okay, so, no, it's just a moment. MNT CSMB, okay. So okay, here Samba 2 in this type. Okay, node 3 as well. Okay, here, okay, ls. So we can find this one. So even if the client system the create new file or directory, but all the cluster node, we can see the same directory. Okay, node 2 here, Samba, and node 3 as well, okay, Samba, like this. Okay, then let's try to use SMB status, node 3. So, SMB status, Now, in the current system, in my case, I mount the Samba service to only node 1. But node 3, we can find like this. Okay, here, root username, root, and client IP address. Client IP address. And now the node 3 also can share this kind of information. Okay, CSMB. Okay, no log file. And node 2 as well. Also same, the client, then the directory, okay, username, IP address like this. And the node 1 as well, also same. Okay, so even if the client mount the Samba sharing the directory only to node 1, but node 2 and node 3 also have the same informations. So now, like this, we can use the clustered the Samba server based on CTDB. Okay, so far I show you how to use the CTDB service based on the Samba. So in chapter 2, please check this kind of the questions. What is a CTDB? Number 2, how can we start the CTDB service? And number 3, what is different between the nodes and public addresses in etc CTDB? And number 4, what is the main configuration file of the CTDB? And number 5, how can we access Samba sharing directories from another client node? I introduced 2 kinds the command to access Samba. And number 6, which fault does CTDB normally use for the service? So using the nested, we can find this eject port. Okay, thank you for watching this video. God bless you and see you in next chapter.